If you rob a bank and on the way out the door you yell, "Respect private property," that's not a defense to robbing the bank.
Mr. President.
The senator from Texas.
Mr. President, I send a question to the desk directed at both sides.
The senator from Texas has a question for both sides. The clerk will read it, and the House managers will go first for 2.5 minutes.
Out of their 16 hours, the House managers devoted all of 15 minutes to articulating a newly created legal standard for incitement. 1, was violence foreseeable? 2, did he encourage violence? 3, did he do so willfully? Is this new standard derived from the criminal code or any Supreme Court case? While violent riots were raging, Kamala Harris said on national TV, "They're not going to let up, and they should not." And she also raised money to bail out violent rioters. Using the manager's proposed standard, is there any coherent way for Donald Trump's words to be incitement and Kamala Harris's words not to be incitement?
Thank you, Mr. President, Senators. I'm not familiar with the statement that is being referred to with respect to the Vice President, but I find it absolutely unimaginable that Vice President Harris would ever incite violence or encourage or promote violence. Obviously, it's completely irrelevant to the proceeding at hand, and I will allow her to defend herself. The President's lawyers are pointing out that we've never had any situation like this before in the history of the United States, and it's true. There's never been a president who has encouraged a violent insurrection against our own government. So we really have nothing to compare it to. So what we do in this trial will establish a standard going forward for all time. Now, there are 2 theories that have been put before you, and I think we've got to get past all of the picayune little critiques that have been offered today about this or that. Let's focus on what's really at stake here. The President's lawyers say, echoing the President, his conduct was totally appropriate. In other words, he would do it again. Exactly what he did is the new standard for what's allowable for him or any other president who gets into office. Our point is that his incitement so overwhelms any possible legal standard we have that we've got the opportunity now to declare that presidential incitement to violent insurrection against the Capitol and the Congress is completely forbidden to the President of the United States under the impeachment clauses. So we set forth for you the elements of encouragement of violence, and we saw it overwhelmingly. We know that he picked the date of that rally. In fact, there was another group that was going to have a rally another date, and he got it moved to January 1st. He synchronized it exactly with the time that we would be in joint session. And as Representative Cheney said, he summoned that mob, he assembled that mob, he incited that mob, he lit the match. Come on, get real. We know that this is what happened. And the second thing is the foreseeability of it. Was it foreseeable? Remember Lansing, Michigan, and everything we showed you. They didn't mention that, of course. Remember the MAGA 2 march, the MAGA 2 rally. They didn't mention that. Violence all over the rallies. The president cheering it on, delighting in it, reveling in it, exulting in it. Come on, how gullible do you think we are? We saw this happen. We just spent 11 or 12 hours looking at all that evidence. And intent to encourage.
Time
Thank
is
you.
expired. Counsel for the former president has 2.5 minutes.
Senator Cruz, I believe the first part of your question refers to the newly created Raskin Doctrine on First Amendment. He just in his answer actually gave you a new one, appropriateness. The standard that this body needs to follow for law is Brandenburg v. Ohio, and the test really, the three-part test really comes out of Bible believers versus Wayne County, to be specific. The speech has to be explicitly or implicitly encouraged, the use of violence. In other words, it has to be in the words itself, which is clearly it's not in the words itself. That's step one. They don't get past it. Two, the speaker intends that his speech will result in use of violence or lawless action. There's no evidence of that, and it's ludicrous to believe that that would be true. Third, the imminent use of violence or lawless action is likely to result in speech. Also, they fail on all 3 points of the law as we know it and needs to be applied here. I don't know why he said he never heard Kamala Harris say about the riots and the people rioting and ruining our businesses and our streets that they're not going to let up, and they should not, because we played it 3 times today. We gave it to you in audio, I read it to you, and you got it in video. That's what she said. But it's protected speech. Her speech is protected also, Senator. That's the point. You all have protections as elected officials, the highest protections under the First Amendment. And that First Amendment applies here in this chamber to this proceeding. And that's what you need to keep focused on. You need to keep focused on what is the law and how do we apply it to this set of facts. It's your duty. You can't get caught up in all of the rhetoric and the facts that are irrelevant. You need to keep focused on what is the issue before you, decide it based on the law, Brandenburg and Bible believers, and apply it to the facts. And that requires you to look at the words. And there were no words of incitement of any kind.
Council's time has expired.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
The Senator from Washington State.
President, I send a question to the desk.
The Senator from Washington, Senator Murray, has a question for the House managers. The clerk will read the question.
At 6:01 p.m. Eastern Time on January 6th, President Trump tweeted, "These are the things that happen when a sacred landslide election victory is so unceremoniously and viciously stripped away from great patriots who have been badly and unfairly treated for so long." Adding, for rioters to go home with love and in peace. What is the relevance of this tweet to President Trump's guilt?
The House managers are recognized for up to 5 minutes.
Senators, this was a key quote and a key statement by the President that day, that horrific day. Remember, the Capitol had been stormed, it had been attacked, people had yelled, "Hang Mike Pence," people had gone after Speaker Pelosi, People brought baseball bats and other weapons. Many members of Congress and the Senate and the House were fearful for their own lives. The president didn't call the National Guard. His own administration didn't list him as somebody that they had spoken with to activate the Guard. And he said, "Remember this day forever." So if he was not guilty of inciting this insurrection, if this is not what he wanted, if it wasn't what he desired, by that time the carnage had been on television for hours. He saw what was going on. Everybody saw what was going on. If it wasn't what he wanted, why would he have said, "Remember this day forever"? Why commemorate a day like that? An attack on the U.S. Capitol, for God's sake. Why would you do that? Unless you agreed that it was something to praise, not condemn. Something to hold up and commemorate. No consoling the nation, no reassuring that the government was secure, not a single word that entire day condemning the attack, or the attackers, or the violent insurrection against Congress. And this tweet is important because it shows two key points about Donald Trump's state of mind. First, this was entirely and completely foreseeable, and he foresaw it. And he helped incite it over many months. He's saying, "I told you this was going to happen if you certified the election for anyone else besides me. And you got what you deserve for trying to take it away from me." And we know this because that statement was entirely consistent with everything he said leading up to the attack. Second, this shows that Donald Trump intended and reveled in this. Senators, he reveled in this. He delighted in it. This is what he wanted. "Remember this day forever," he said. Not as a day of disgrace as it is to all of us, but as a day of celebration and commemoration. And if we let it, if we don't hold him accountable and set a strong precedent, possibly a continuation later on. We will, of course, all of us remember this day, but not in the same way that Donald Trump suggested.
Well, Lou,
I caught it on and off today, and I've been watching since the Senate questions started. And it's just that I don't even know what to say.
I'm not real sure what Trump's attorney's trying to do.
He's trying to build a case that the Democrats didn't do enough investigation, and he's trying to claim it's hearsay and not based on fact. And I know part of it today, he was claiming that he lied right off the bat, saying all that film surprised him. And you know what? The House managers gave him all that film beforehand. That was agreed upon by Schumer and McConnell. They gave his attorneys all the same evidence to look at. Here's what we're going to show. And they flat out lied. They never saw it before.
Well, he flat out lied a couple of times already. So, I mean, just in what we were watching. Look, I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot to work with. Okay. And I would almost feel for him if the fix wasn't already in. Okay. And, we're going to get back and we're going to talk about some of the things that was done today and some of the stuff. But did you happen to watch CNN last night? Probably not.
No,
probably not. You're an MSNBC guy. I got you.
The Penguins were on. The Penguins were on.
Oh, well, hell, you don't watch any of that last night then.
No, I watch hockey. You have to get away from it. And they won in overtime, by the way, in a shootout.
See that? Good.
So, yeah, it's like, you know what? I had enough.
Oh, sorry we kept you waiting, dude. Anyhow, here's let me throw this one out. This was on CNN last night. Okay.
John, the House impeachment
me see if I
managers
can get
just
the
laid
sound
out
going here.
their entire case
Here we go.
against the former president. Do you believe it was enough to convince some of these Republican senators to actually do what they're clearly so reluctant to do, but actually go ahead and convict him?
It
The answer is
appears we'll
no.
know that answer as early as Saturday night or into Sunday. The trial appears to be on that fast of a track, Wolf. I think you have to say, by what we just heard from Ryan and other reporting tonight, the answer is, as of the moment, it does not look so. You have Lindsey Graham and other Republicans actually in plotting strategy with Trump's lawyers. They are supposed to be impartial jurors. Tells you everything you
Look
need
at this
to know.
shit.
You have Joni Ernst of Iowa, Marco
This was
Rubio of
last
Florida,
night.
2 Republican senators leaving the chamber tonight, giving credit, complimenting the presentation by the Democrats, saying it was very powerful, the case they laid forward, but still saying they have doubts about whether it's appropriate to convict a former president. So you see some Republicans coming up with a political argument. We'll watch how this plays out in the end, but this is the challenge the managers have, the House managers, essentially the prosecutors here. They're essentially trying 2 cases, Wolf. They want to convict President Trump in the Senate. If they fail at that, because they don't get enough Republican votes, they're trying to convict the Republican Party in the American Court of Public Opinion, making the sense that we presented our evidence and these Republicans decided to stay with Donald Trump, to stay as the party of Trump.
You know, Abby Phillip is with us as well. The Democrats' presentation, Abby, I think everybody agrees, was very, very strong. But their assignment to actually change the minds of these Republican jurors, these Republican senators, that's an enormous challenge, isn't it?
It really is, because in part, so many of these Republican jurors, 45 of them, voted just a couple of days ago to say that the whole proceeding is unconstitutional in their view. And so it really raises the bar for them to, although I will say it is certainly possible for them to vote one way in that vote, and then now that that issue has been decided, to look at the merits of the case and evaluate it and make a decision about whether Trump is in fact guilty or not of the case that is at hand, which is whether he incited a riot. But so many of them are not even at that point. They don't want to deal with the substance because they're really concerned about their political futures. They don't want to invite primary challenges. They don't want to invite, well-funded opponents coming into their states and giving them a hard time. And so many of them are going to take the easiest route, and the easiest route right now, if you're a Republican in the Senate, is to vote to acquit Donald Trump.
It goes on from there, but the fact you had these 3 assholes meeting with Trump's attorneys last night, and there's not a damn thing anybody can do about it. And I guess that's the part that bothers me.
They probably gave him the questions and talking points last night. You know.
It is absolutely disgusting that they can get away with this.
You know what? Now I'm gonna have to go in and out because I can't hear.
Oh, geez, here we go.
I'm on the, and of course it ain't on the laptop.
We're gonna have to get him something. I think we're gonna have to get him. You know what? He should just buy an iPad. You know. Maybe you should just get it. Still can't do it. And we're gonna have the in and out Lou tonight. Hold on, he's gonna be back. Just give him a second. But anyhow, guys, what I was saying is I cannot believe that we're stuck with. There's not a thing that anybody can do about it. You know, Oh wait. We have another Lou sighting. Let's see how long this one lasts.
All right, I can hear you again.
There we go. Look out. We got a winner. Winner, chicken
on.
dinner.
Yeah, you know what? Zoom worked fine this morning.
You're upside down now. Okay, now you're upside right.
Then my daughter knows what not to call, so she calls. And when she calls, the phone it throws everything out.
You know what? If you're not going to get that that Mac Air. Why not get an iPad?
I thought about that too.
I mean, you can get a keyboard for it for under $100, and it does do keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, I did. I thought about that too.
For a couple $100, you could have a pretty decent thing. That's, I mean, you can run Word on it. You can run Excel. So you can still. I mean, I don't know what you use to cost things, but you can still do all that. I live on Excel, but I mean, you could. It wouldn't be. It's not that hard. You're used to using one monitor anyhow, so. You can even split the screen too, just like we're split here.
Yeah.
You could have two apps running on the same screen. Might be worth looking into.
Yeah, I have to think about that.
Yeah,
see if Biden gets me any money.
See, even more reason that you should run for Senate.
Yeah.
All you got to do is sell one vote, and you got that Mac Air.
Hey, did you vote for me when I ran against Mike Kelly a few years ago?
You're damn right.
I was looking to see how many votes I got just to see if they tallied it, and they never put it in. I had figured I got about 20 or 25.
So, the rate this is going, they going to vote tomorrow? Or
I would call them in to vote.
I guess they're going to vote either Monday or Tuesday then, right? I'm sorry.
They have what? It's 4 hours tonight, then what? I'm not sure. They have 4 hours of questioning.
Right.
Whether they're going to use the whole 4, I don't know.
Oh, they probably will. I would bet they're going to. I would bet. Well, how many hours into questioning are we now? We got to be at least 2.
It's 2 now because it started before. It started about 3:30, 3:45.
Yeah, so they're about 2 hours in, maybe a little bit over. They're just going to finish up tonight then.
I don't know if Leahy will just call everybody in tomorrow for the vote, or wait till Monday. What would you do if you were him?
I'd wait till Monday. And I'll tell you why. You have 40 some assholes who aren't going to vote for him or vote to convict him. This way you're given the weekend. Well, let's put it this way. You're pretty damn sure you have 6 that are they're going to vote to convict. Okay? Pretty damn sure. So you need at least 11 more. That gives people the weekend to call in and complain and pressure these senators to vote. That's why I would think you would want to wait until Monday. I'd even wait until Tuesday if I could. Put the pressure on them. Start going out to. I don't even know if they're doing that or not. Start going out to these. Start targeting ads in these states. Have your senator vote for conviction. It's the DNC. They got to have money.
Yeah, I would, especially throw up a clip of that riot and him saying something and say, your senator supports this.
Yeah. Show the clip and then show the quote from their senator. I mean, that's what they should be doing. They should be putting. So look at what Kamala Harris did just in West Virginia to Manchin.
Yeah.
Right. You want to do this right. You got to go at what they're afraid of. You got to attack them. You got to target them. Don't target the senator. Target the voters. And work up enough pressure from them that these assholes don't have a choice. Because if not, this is just an exercise in futility, really. There's really no point in doing any of it unless they have something else in mind. One of the questions today was, is there and I'm kind of paraphrasing here, Lou, and it was the answer that was more interesting than the question. So don't ask me who asked the question, because they just say the senator from wherever, the senator from Maine, the senator from New Jersey, the senator from Colorado. They're not saying which one it is, right? Because there's always two. So they're not saying which one it is. They're just saying the state. And so one of the senators asked the question, and again, I'm paraphrasing, that said, can the Senate separate conviction and disqualification? Can they do that to a sitting president, and can they do it to a former president? And Trump's lawyer, asshole lawyer, went first, and this guy's a piece of work, and he just went on and on and on and on, bitching about some answer that Castro gave the question before. Never did address this, so obviously he has no clue. Of course, it is a procedural question in the Senate, so I'm not saying he probably should have, but still, you'd thought that's where you're going. You would kind of, I don't know, maybe have a pocket edition of the Constitution someplace, and you can try to look it up real quick. And we have these things called cell phones, because the fun you're having with, and you can look it up real quick, right? I mean, Google's a wonderful thing. But anyhow, he basically took that opportunity to not answer the question and to bitch about an answer Castro had the question before. But then whoever the lead manager is for the Democrats, I can't think of his name right now.
Raskin.
Boy, is he good. That guy's sharp as a tack, boy. He basically said, yes, you can separate. You can choose guilty on one, and then choose not to disqualify on, if the Senate chooses to bring it up, or you could choose not guilty and have this, and if the Senate chooses to bring up disqualification, you can choose to disqualify him, vote in favor of the disqualification. So even now on the floor, they're kind of setting up a scenario where maybe they're giving these Republicans a little bit of cover and saying, okay, you can vote them not guilty. Okay. Oh, and the disqualification thing is a simple majority vote. There's no 2/3. It's a simple majority.
I believe that falls under the 14th Amendment, doesn't it?
Oh, dude, you're really asking the wrong person. After like the first three, I can't tell you what any of them mean.
I believe it actually does. And that's probably why they're splitting it. They know they won't get a guilty, but they sure, you know what? They're doing the Republicans a favor by getting them a disqualification.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're basically saying, here you go. You can hide. 5 of you have balls.
Yeah. Well, you figure Romney's going to choose that, probably.
That includes 2 women.
Right. Yeah. You think either of them would choose to vote to disqualify? In essence, you really only need 2. Actually, you only need 1.
I'm going to say Toomey's going to disqualify along with Romney.
So there's your 2.
And I would say Ben Sass.
So there's your 3. Right?
So I'd say Murkowski ahead of Collins.
Okay, well let's ignore Murkowski or Collins just for the sake of argument. Okay, let's just ignore those 2. That gives 3 Democrats cover as well, because it's a simple majority. That still gives Harris the deciding vote. Right? It's a simple majority vote.
Right. That gives is Manchin not running again, or
I don't know, but let's just say you got 3 totally idiot Democrats in the Senate, which, let's face it, you do. You just covered 3 of them, and you still get the disqualification. I would almost think that is ultimately what they want to do, because they had to know that there was no way in hell they were going to get a conviction. And through this whole thing, anytime you heard the Democrats, anytime you heard the managers talking, they kept saying the same thing over and over again. What's to stop him from doing it again? You know, what's to stop him the next time he gets elected to anything? I don't care if he's elected to, you know, mayor of, you know, wherever the hell Mar-a-Lago is.
Did you see Ted Lieu's quote yesterday?
Maybe.
He said, I'm not afraid of Trump running and winning. I'm afraid of Trump running and losing again.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. Right there you go. Maybe ultimately the goal is disqualification, because it's not going to be. They had to know it's not conviction, and I'm not saying they shouldn't have done it anyhow, right? Because I mean they had an obligation to, but maybe ultimately that's not their end goal. Maybe their end goal was disqualification as far as Trump is concerned, and in a lot of ways they put the entire Republican Party on trial. Whenever you knew you had 47 idiots that decided to vote that this thing was unconstitutional to begin with, who apparently can't slap their asses with both hands because, no, yeah, it is. There's precedent set. That's the part that killed me. There was precedent set, and they still said, oh, no, this is unconstitutional. What the hell are you talking about? We've already done it. It already happened once. You know? And they still voted that way. So you knew you had knuckleheads.
Don't forget, you have most of the Republican voters that probably did not see a lot of that impeachment trial because Fox wasn't showing it.
No.
They're probably showing a defense today.
I told you, there's no way in hell they're missing today.
And what that gives them is enough rationalization to say, oh, he's not guilty.
Yeah.
They didn't show everything else.
We're getting a few messages in chat that is anyone getting crazy lag spikes on Twitch? I'm looking at my stream manager and I'm not really seeing much of anything, dude. My bit rate and everything seems to be pretty steady. But I do know that this has been a recurring thing on Twitch. I want to say for about the last week. I know some of the people I follow, I was seeing that same thing. You know, whenever I was in chat or whenever I was just watching them, just stupid crazy lag. So I don't think that it's anything new. I don't know if Twitch even put out a statement or anything like that. I sure as hell wasn't notified of any if that they even recognized the problem. So, you know, whenever you're done watching us, go jump on and watch a couple other folks and see if you're having the same problem with them, because I bounced around 3 or 4 different people. I want to say it was Tuesday or Wednesday. I mean, I was even watching Castro, and I was seeing lag like crazy. So it's got to be a Twitch thing. Anyhow, Lou, I'm sorry. So maybe that is their end game. Like I said, this is opening the doors to a lot of Democrats running against senators now, Republican senators.
Yeah, and we had talked about that. You know, who actually is up. And you know what, to me, some of these guys that are kissing his ass that are up, that's right. You know what, like I said yesterday about Rubio, my God, you stand and say, you know what, he's been a prick since 2016 running. Look at the lies he spewed. He's a traitor now. And all he has to do again in the primary against Ivanka is say, yeah, here's your dad. She supported him. She supports treason and dictatorship. And
let's say he gets disqualified. You were part of that whole thing, and your father got disqualified.
Yeah.
And you're
so now what?
You're just as guilty as he is.
And now what? What do? You lose the Cuban vote, and you're Cuban.
Yep.
And you know what? They're saying Ivanka. Okay, who else is going to jump in that race down there?
Jared?
Well, not against Ivanka.
Well, that's true. Oh, against her? Okay.
Yeah, who would be? You know, I'm guessing you're going to have a third person in there running
in the primary.
Yeah,
or in the general.
In the primary.
So in the Republican primary, you're going to see 3.
I'm hard to say. I mean, if you had aspirations and you hate Rubio and you're Republican, wouldn't now be your chance?
If you hate Rubio and Ivanka's running, yeah, now's your chance. Now's your chance, because you only need a little over 1 out of 3. Right? That's it. That's all you need. Just a little over 1 out of 3. And you're in. Yeah, it's a perfect time. It's a perfect time. And this is what we were talking about yesterday, right? This is what we're talking about whenever we say they're going to splinter the Republican Party. This is how it happens. This is exactly how it happens. Because do you think after this, now it is Florida, so we said before Florida's a shithole, but you're going to have somebody win out of either Rubio, Ivanka, whoever the third person is, against the solid Democrat. You're going to have a split Republican ticket, because this whole idea of the Republicans all voting Republican now, I wonder if that still holds true whenever there's a Trump on the ticket now, Master Grant. Let me preface this by saying we're going on the notion that Trump gets he's not going to get they're not going to vote on the impeachment, right? They're going to find him not guilty, but they're going to disqualify him from ever running again. They're going to split it, right? Which you can do because it's two separate things. So they're going to vote not guilty on the impeachment, but then they're going to because, and let me tell you why. The disqualification is a simple majority vote. Okay? It's a simple majority vote for disqualification, which means stay along party lines all you want, and Kamala Harris is your tiebreaker. Okay? So now you have a governor thing going on in Florida now, where you got, or not governor, a congressional thing going on where you got Rubio running because he's up in 2 years. You're going to have Ivanka running. And now if you're a Republican who can't stand Rubio and doesn't want anything to do with the Trumps, you're now in now too, because you're looking at, you got one hell of an opportunity. Now what happens? This is how the party gets split. Or do you think they're just going to pick the Republican no matter who it is?
It's hard to say. It's a really good question. Looking out, I mean, well, first of all, I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen. This whole trial is a waste of time and money. We know the Republicans aren't going to vote to impeach him.
Right.
It's ridiculous. Guilty is sin, and they're going to not vote him because of party affiliation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is such a waste of our money. We pay the Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell buffoons. Mm-hmm. We pay them for this, and they're just not going to do it. Well, I'm a Republican. I'm not going to do it. Blah blah blah.
Yep.
And this is what we pay for. What a waste of money. I wonder how much we ended up. I wonder how much this trial is costing us.
Lots.
That's money that could be much better spent. Don't you think that money should be going to distribution of the vaccine? Imagine.
Well, here's what do you, if you're you saw this insurrection that this president did. Do you just leave it alone? Do you not bring these charges up? You gonna give him a free pass because it's expensive?
No, I take it. Put it in the courts.
You can't.
He's not a president anymore.
He was at the time. The time when it happened, he was still president.
God. And then we need a law that says that if you do something like longer office, you get tried just like any other person. I don't know. I'm just, the money kills me. The money drives me nuts. This enormous waste of time and effort and money for this guy who caused an insurrection. He needs to. We should have private court, and put him up to trial and convict him, get him out of the park. Because first of all, okay, the Senate, this isn't even a real trial anyway.
Right.
We know the Senate, the Republicans are not going to vote. Period. Doesn't matter what they say. You can have Santa Claus walk in there, and they're still not gonna. They're not gonna convict.
Nope.
So why? It's like this isn't a real trial. This is a travesty of justice. Is what it is. Whoops.
Look at this. Right.
What's this mean? I'm sorry. I was working.
These are the 14 asshole senators who chose not even to show up today.
Oh, because they believe it's not constitutional.
Didn't even bother to show up. Blue, take a look who's on the bottom right.
Rubio.
Marco Rubio. Chose to not even bother to show up today. Above him, that asshole Kennedy. I can't stand that guy. Right? Look who's two to the left of Rubio.
Look at that. The Oklahoma guy is there. That idiot. Wow.
Bottom row, third one from the right. Look at that.
Yeah, and of course these guys are all from states that have more cows than they have people.
Of course. Except for Florida.
Florida.
Maybe. Who knows?
Unbelievable.
But those are the assholes who didn't even bother to show up today.
That's just that makes me not even as angry anymore. I boiled so much that now I'm the opposite.
Here's you know what though? 4 days ago, they wrote their name in a book and they raised their right hand and they swore that they were gonna be fair and impartial jurors. They took an oath that they were going to do this.
No.
And then these assholes don't even bother to show up.
Yeah, that oath means nothing to them.
It means nothing to them.
And that's why it's a travesty of justice, because this isn't even a trial. They shouldn't even call it a trial. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Literally means nothing.
So let's talk about Ivanka running for Senate. Running for Senate. Now we all know she's going to run. It's basically on her name and her dad. Nothing about her.
There's a few things about her people are going to like.
So
I'm sorry.
And she's going to go up against Rubio, and she's going to lose.
You think?
Yeah.
You think she's going to lose?
She's going to lose the primary.
What if there's a third person in her?
Then she's got a chance. Yeah.
You think?
But if it's her.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry, Master Grant. Go ahead.
My bad. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Master Grant. Go ahead.
No.
Okay. Lou, what do you think? If it's do both, if it's just the two of them, if it's just her and Rubio, he's loved down there.
Tell you what, just the two of them, I think it would be tight. He probably would win. That, like I said, that third one in there would throw it.
A third one in there is a wild card, right? That third one's a wild card.
You take somebody like, say, the mayor of Miami.
The DeSantis? Or no, he's the governor. Never mind.
Governor. There's a mayor of Miami is Republican, and I think he's more traditional.
So he's probably pretty well liked, I would think.
Yeah, I believe he is. He's
going to get the Latino and Cuban votes
in that heavy market. Guess what?
He's going to get it before Rubio does. Probably, if he's that well liked. Right? Ooh. Maybe we should move to Florida and start rigging the election. What do you think, Master Grant? I'll pick you up on the way down. Okay? We'll make one trip.
I can't. No matter how good the weather is, I will not move to that state ever.
We'll fix the voting machines. We'll play around with the algorithm.
Like that algorithm.
What do you think? I can steal anything under the sun of Master Grant. He's the engineer there, so we got it all set.
Yes, we do.
We We got it all set. You know, we'll just get that 5 1/4 inch floppy drive and we'll take it out of each machine and make sure they can't dial up on that modem. On that 32 quad modem. Somebody goes to vote for the Democrats, something will pop up that says you got mail. What do you think? Sound like a plan?
Yes.
This is on you. I don't know if you can do it in JSON code, though. You're probably going to have to do something a little more outdated.
Oh, heck, I started in COBOL, so.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. See, brush up. We make this look easy. Thanks, dude.
So I like I said, I didn't really get to see any of the news today. Were there any highlights from the trial?
Oh, there were some lowlights.
Lowlights?
Oh, yeah.
Probably blaming, I'm going to guess. Okay, let me guess. Okay. Redirect. Somehow it's this Pelosi Democrats' fault.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And-
Pelosi's the evil behind the whole thing.
And redirect, somehow Antifa is involved. So that's just wild guesses. Am I anywhere near?
Yeah, you know what? You're not very far off, actually. I'll be honest, dude. That's pretty good. It's almost like you knew what was coming. Huh?
Unbelievable. You know, that's so. I can't. I'm sorry. So they tried to blame Antifa.
Yep, they tried to. Yep.
Bless you.
I think, honest to God, I think the first thing they wanted to do was try to blame BLM until they saw the footage that there weren't any black people there, and they're like, no, we can't even be that ignorant.
Yeah, it was the left and Antifa. And let me guess, the left and Antifa are going to incite a riot to overturn an election Biden won.
Yeah, that the left won. That's what they're going to do. That's us QAnon assholes, dude.
And then they're going to run out and buy all that shit out of their own pockets that they would hate to spend the money on, like Confederate flags, Nazi flags, Camp Auschwitz sweatshirts. Give me a break.
And Trump flags, don't forget those.
Trump flags, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know what? And not only did they try to sell this bullshit, Fox Entertainment regurgitated it.
Well, we knew that. That we knew. We knew this was going to be the big day for Fox News. They were going to be playing this.
I was this close. This close all day to trying to flip over just to see what they were doing. But I blocked Fox so they wouldn't come up on my on anything, and it's like I just can't do it. I can't. It'd be like, you know, throwing holy water on a demon or something. Like I would just burn. I couldn't do it. You know, I'm melting. You know, there's no way. But I would love to see what they're doing with this.
Do you think Trump's children the boys are going to run for anything?
I don't. Maybe Barron one day. And I'm not making that up. Maybe one day he will. But these two idiots aren't going to. I don't think they are capable of handling somebody being directly across from them and getting as in their face as they would try to get into the other person. I don't think they'd be able to handle it. That's why I don't think either of them would run. They don't have it in them to do it. They're soft. Lou, what do you think?
I don't think either one. If they were smarter, but they're not. I mean, they're not any smarter than their father. But he has that.
He's street smart.
He has that street smarts he grew up with.
Yeah.
You know, from day one. he has that innate ability to lie without any remorse, as we can see over and over again. And I think with them, it shows too quick.
Yeah, yeah. You know exactly whenever you're getting them off their game too.
Yeah, and you get a seasoned interviewer, they'd knock them off in no time at all.
I'm pretty sure the only thing that they've really since this whole nightmare began, the only people they've really been on air with has been Fox Entertainment. I don't remember them on CNN, and I promise you, none of them ever went on MSNBC. And I don't think even like Stephanopoulos ever had them on.
No, I don't think so.
No, I mean maybe they did, but
I can't remember. I don't even remember Chris Wallace.
No, I don't either. The three morning idiots, the three jackasses on the couch, they had him on all the time, right? Of course, Tucker did, and you know, Master Grant's buddy, Hannity, right? Yeah, all the time. I don't think they were ever on anything real. I honestly don't think they could handle it.
Did you see how Como just ripped Lindsey Graham?
I did not.
Yeah, it's on the. I saw that before I came on. Basically saying that Lindsey Graham's culpable because he's stoking the fires now with this impeachment, with with the redirects, and so Como said he's now culpable for anything else that happens. And yeah, I mean, you could see it. I just, like I said, are these guys, are they so in bed with the Trump rhetoric, the political spin doctors, that they can't see straight anymore?
Luke?
My question is they're in with that, but how deep are they with Russian money over the last couple of elections?
Well, that's a good question too now, isn't it? Isn't it?
It's been kind of known a lot of that NRA money from Russia flowed through to them.
That's a really good point. And you know what? Follow the money.
Always.
Yep, follow the money.
Always follow the money.
That's a really good point.
Yep.
Yeah, that would explain a lot. Because you would think like somebody like Lindsey Graham, okay, he's not a dumb guy, right? But but he's sure acting like it. And so either he's completely brainwashed and now, he's been in it too long, for example. Now he doesn't really know what's right or wrong anymore. Or he's got some secrets that he's got to block, right?
He's scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Lou, I always figured it was one of those two things too. And I kept leaning toward he's scared.
Well, let me give you 8 names.
Okay.
Senator Richard Shelby, Ron Johnson, John Kennedy, Steve Daines, John Hoeven, Jerry Moran, John Thune, and Representative Kay Granger of Texas. She was a rep, but she went. And I believe, was Rand Paul there?
Was that the NRA trip to Russia?
Yeah, on July 4th, 2018.
That's appropriate.
Yeah, that's real appropriate.
That's appropriate. And who have been some of the biggest pieces of shit in our government since then? We are live, dude. We are definitely live. Huh? Rand Paul, Miss Lindsay. I'm telling you, Master Grant, I completely agree. There's pictures or videos or something he doesn't want anybody to see. Right? It isn't just accusations. It's not verbal. There's video there. You're gonna see what you can see it more than just hear it. Right? They got something on this guy.
Yeah.
Because he's flipping and flopping like a fish out of water.
And
They got tape of him somewhere.
Yeah, they do.
And what drives me nuts is that we're going to be paying his salary and health care for the rest of his life.
Yeah, well, you know, we can't choose who these clowns elect. You know, just wish people would do things our way. The world would be a much better place.
Well, again, it's going to be back to the fiscal things about the Senate, right? So these men, right, and some women, are after a certain number of years, are guaranteed a salary,
Yep,
guaranteed health care,
Yep.
guaranteed protection for the rest of their lives.
Well, I can understand the protection part, especially if you're like on if you have high security clearances, right? I can understand that because they see almost what the president sees. Can't have a problem with everything else.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree. You know, where can you work these days and have guarantees like that? There's no more pensions.
Mm-mm.
You know, they all bamboozled everyone into 401ks, and everybody, you know, nobody's smart enough, to be honest. Nobody knows how to. So everybody's going to find out painfully their 401k is woefully inadequate, and they're going to be working at Walmart until they're 85, 86.
Well, that whole
It was supposed to trickle down from Reagan, though.
Another one of the best lies ever.
What happened?
constructed. What happened? It's like it's common sense. Rich aren't going to give you any money, and they're not gonna do things that are going to trickle down. No,
but you
they're
should
going to accumulate
grateful you have the
more
job.
and more, and isolate more and more. That's why we have down here triple gated communities. You do know that. I actually went to a support in a triple gated community. I thought the one gate was fine, right? You go through the first gate, that's right, and then I had a second gate. It's like, what the heck? Oh, I guess that we need the second gate to keep the people out of the first gate out from coming in through the second gate.
So wait a minute. So the people before the second gate are rung down from the people in the second gate.
Yeah. And then you got the third gate. Those are the really elites. And I couldn't believe that as I was driving in this within the third gate, that people had home protected by Sentinel, you know?
Really? Well,
and I'm like, what? You now you think people are gonna come in from the ocean? Oh my gosh. It was just mind numbing.
Master Grant, these are the elite. I mean, these are the high class. These are people who step out of the shower to take a pee. You know?
So
what are you going to do with those guys?
So yeah, you know, and it's like, well, anyway, where can you find a job that's going to do that for you and pay you for the rest of your life? You can't. There is none.
No, get a sugar mama, and that's about the only chance we have.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little late for all three of us.
No, don't talk for me here.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm still in the market for a sugar mama.
Folks, don't let him kid you. He's just jonesing for another monitor. That's all. Whatever you got to do to get one, man.
and you know, that comes down to 40 years of propaganda and people not knowing how to do simple math. Nope. The difference between 1,000, a million, and a billion.
No, you're absolutely right. And you know, this whole idea of take the pensions away and put it into people's hands, let them manage their money. No.
Yeah, you know what it is too. It's presentation too, because and I'll tell you what it is. If you get Mark Cuban to sit down at any place next to you, say you go to Starbucks. I don't know. I'm just making this shit up as I go, but just follow me out. Follow me with this one, okay? Or Bezos, or what's his name? Tesla.
Elon Musk.
Musk, okay?
Musk.
Take one of those three. And you meet them at Starbucks, and they're telling you what to do with your money. They're asking you how much you have, and you say, I don't know, I got 10 grand, or I got 100. I don't know, just makes it say 10 grand because it's stupid easy numbers, right? And each one of them tells you, and it's not a competition, just pick one of them. And they say, look, here's what you got to do. Just do this. Okay? And it's not exactly rocket science. Anybody can figure out how to do it. They say, just do this and be patient. You're going to be just fine. Right? Which is basically the concept of a pension, right? Just do this, keep it simple, let it sit there, let it collect over years and years and years, and you're going to be just fine. And you go, oh, okay. And then you go home, you sit down in front of the television, and there's this huge presentation, all the bells and whistles and lights and bright shiny objects, and they're telling you 401k, 401k. Where do you think you're putting your money? Well, I mean us, but I mean the shop worker, right? The person who's lucky if they have a high school diploma. Where are they putting their money? The guy that's working the floor at Lordstown back in the day.
They're paying
who does nothing all day but driving rivets, right?
Yeah, they're paying their rent, they're paying their car rent, they're paying utilities. That's what all the money.
What are they doing with that money? They listen to the big shiny presentation, or are they going to listen to somebody sitting at, they can listen to Bezos sitting at Starbucks?
Well, the presentation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the bright shiny object. Right? So you want to sell people on this? There you go. Pretty simple. Give them a nice presentation. And then take their money. Pretty much what Trump did.
Well, he made a lot of money.
I'm going to fight for you. This election was stolen from you. I'm going to fight for you. We're going to fight for you to get it back. Send me $50. Because we need it for our attorneys.
What do you make in that 2-month time? 350 million?
Something like that, yeah. It was over $250 million. It's a good gig if you can get it, huh? You knew there was a problem whenever he quit paying Rudy. By the way, whatever happened to him? I haven't heard from him in 3 weeks now.
Hiding.
You find another cousin to shack up with?
He's probably trying to figure out how to make his case against Smartmatic.
Ooh, boy, is he going to have a problem, huh? Boy, is he going to have a problem. They're pretty much going to do what the House managers did and just show the video. Here you go. Take a look. What do you think? We'll show it and say, you know what, we're just going to rest now. Go ahead and defend that.
Except that's going to be in a real court.
Yeah. Well, Rudy's a real attorney, I guess. So you can tell by the way he sat in front of Congress and farted. Those were attorney farts. Those were at $100 an hour. You can't imagine how much that hair dye cost that was running down his cheeks. Those are expensive. You guys think the Democrats are actually going to call witnesses?
I still wish they'd call like Ted Cruz up and say, who won the election?
Yeah, that's what I would like to see. Exactly.
I want them to call what's his name? Who was that asshole senator? I think it was his first term. He's the one that stopped as he was walking across the street, and that asshole who was literally shitting his pants as they were escorting him, getting him out of the building. Okay, the guy was absolutely terrified. Put him on. How did you feel that day? Oh, and before you answer us, take a look at this. Okay. How did that make you feel? Were you scared? Huh? Were you thinking about your family? Just start hitting them with it. They should do that to every single one of them. What they should do is the first 3 people they should call are the 3 assholes that met with Trump's defense attorneys yesterday. What exactly did you talk about during that meeting? Let's start there. And the fact that you even had that meeting, why do you even feel qualified to be casting a vote then? I think you should be disqualified. Let's start with those three. And if you don't want to call the senators, boy, there's a whole lot of House Republicans that you could call who are done. They have no horse in this race now. They did their job. They're done. They're watching it just like we are. How about White House staffers? And say, just what exactly was the president doing whenever all this was going on?
Yeah.
Was he watching Fox Entertainment? What was he doing? Would he have a call into Russia? What was going on? He was so busy.
He was gleefully and joyfully watching.
Damn right he was. Look at all these idiots I have fighting for me.
Now, how did they spin this to be? And I'm sorry, I always mispronounce this because I go anti-fa, because it's anti-fascist. That's what they are, anti-fascist.
Mm-hmm.
No extreme group is good, right? But these guys are anti-fascists, and so what does that mean? They're against fascist groups. What's a fascist group? Nazis, right? White supremacists, MAGAs, right? Those are fascists. And so Antifa is against, is that how you pronounce? I'm sorry. I know I mispronounced it.
Antifa. You were too English, dude. It's Antifa. Be American. Don't be English, okay? This is American English, not the Queen's English.
Gotta show that little Union Jack over the shoulder there.
That's why I did it.
While I wear my Detroit hat. So, where was I going?
Antifa.
So Antifa, how did they get pulled into the? How did they? What were they with the demonstrators? Is that what's being said? Or they led it?
They're the Republican boogeyman.
Well, Fox News and a bunch of them within one day were blaming it on Antifa and the radical left.
Yeah, no one can tell you where they're from, who their leaders are, where they're located, anything at all. Can't tell you shit about them. But anytime something happens, they're the people who did it.
I just don't understand how it was so obvious that these were MAGA people.
Was it the hats that gave it away?
The flags and everything else. I mean, what? I don't get it. I really don't understand. How are they to blame?
I don't either. Lou, I guess it goes back to the same old thing, right? If I can point the finger at somebody else and say they are making you a victim, I got you. I got you buffaloed. Look at all this that's scaring you. Look at these. Nobody likes conflict. You know that, Master Grant, right? Nobody likes conflict. No one likes altercations. No one does. It's very unnatural to have that. So if I can point a finger at something and say that's the reason you're scared, and well, by the way, you're watching Fox Entertainment anyhow, so you're conservative, you're Republican, you were born scared, you're going to die scared. Hell, I'm living right. You're walking right into my hands. I got you. And it works like a charm. It always has. It's no different than the Jews are your problem back in the 1940s. Right? It's the Jews' fault. It's Antifa's fault. It's BLM's fault. You know, because they want to feel like, because BLM wants to feel like they're as equal as you are. Well, they can't be as equal as you. They're taking something away from you. Oh, there's rioting, there's insurrections, there's Molotov cocktails being thrown all over the place. Must be Antifa, because our side wouldn't do that. We're the victims. They're doing this to us. We're so big a victim that we have to get some 16-year-old kid to come out of state with a freaking AR who wants to protect a car parking lot and kill people. Because you're victims. These people are out to get you. That's why. Oh, by the way, no one knows where that kid is. Or maybe I take that back. He came back and the local judge decided they weren't going to up his bail money. How about that one? What was it? What the hell was that? Kyle, what the hell was his last name?
Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse. Yeah, that's it. That little fuck. Right? How about did you see they did a GoFundMe for him? Did you see how much freaking money that kid got for his defense? Lou, it's more than you and I make in 2 years. Or as much
What I want to know is why wasn't his mother arrested as an accessory to murder?
Yeah, go figure that one. I haven't figured that one out yet either. Right? How does a 16-year-old have an AR or an AK? I can't remember which one it was. Right? So she bought it for him, drove him across the state line, let him hop out of the car, and she said, "Okay, honey, go have a nice day."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, well, Master Graham, why does the Princess Bride coming back to me? Have fun storming the castle, right? Right? Have fun shooting people. You put them into a middle of a riot, and you just let him jump out of your car with a freaking assault rifle and say, "Oh, he'll be fine." Don't worry, he'll be okay. He's a good boy.
Well, they really thought it was the start of the revolution. Those people there really thought the revolution was starting. So,
yeah, right. Because you had 20 people running up and down the street. It's the start of a revolution.
You know what? They believe that. That's the truth.
Scary, isn't it? We're going to start a revolution with skateboards. Right? The one guy that got shot was carrying a skateboard. Or they're going to put Tony Hawk in charge of the country whenever they win.
The guy that got shot with the skateboard was actually trying to disarm him from shooting more people.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, how scary could it have been whenever the people they're carrying skateboards? I mean, I could see if you live in I'm sorry, Master Grant. I think this was a single gated community with the idiot husband and wife who decided to come in their yard, on their front yard, waving their guns at everybody. Yeah, that must have been a single gated community because those are dangerous places.
Yeah, they got to speak at the Republican convention.
Yeah, those are dangerous. Yeah, they did. They were rewarded for that. You believe that shit? They were rewarded for it. Of course, they got some legal problems now, but yeah, how about that one, huh? Trump thought it was a really good idea what these guys were doing. Thought they put them up on a pedestal. There's people walking down the street. They're going to jump out in their yards with their guns.
Wow.
Yeah, point them at people. I don't know. The wife must have thought she was Annie Oakley or something because she had no idea how to use it. But no clue. She had no idea what she was doing with that gun. None. It was.
And I'm going to ask a hard question: Who are they scared? Who are they scared of? Who are they? Who are they waiting for?
Silly. That would be the people walking down the street. The people who are a few shades darker than they were.
Yeah, they had a summer tan.
Yeah, they had a summer tan. That was it. All they had to do was roll their sleeves up. They just thought it was, much clearer. That's a farmer's tan. Well, same thing, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Believe that shit? And they were at the RNC.
Yeah. Well,
how do you combat that? How do you defeat that? When you got something that's that far gone, how do you pull them back? Right? Because my way doesn't work. I just say, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" and expect an answer. That's how stupid I am. Right? What do you do with these folks? How do you bring them back? How do you get them out of that cycle, out of that cult? Which is basically what it is.
You got to take away all of the feeds that they consume.
That's damn near impossible.
And they have no exposure to anyone that's different.
Did you guys ever hear of a guy named Kevin Mitnick? Master Grant, you might have. This is going back quite some time. Kevin Mitnick was basically one of the original celebrity, quote unquote, big time hackers. Okay, now this is going back, oh geez, 25, maybe 30 years. Okay. And what he did was a 3.5-inch disc. I don't know if people on our chat probably have no idea what those are, but both of you guys do. He would get a 3.5-inch disc. And they had the sticker on them, right? So you can rate what was on the disc, right? You can rate on, and they always told you, never use a ballpoint pen and never write on the sticker on the disc, but everybody did anyhow, right? And he just wrote personal on it. That was it. And he would walk into a bank or walk into, some big company, and right at the reception desk, he'd just drop it on the reception desk and walk away. Okay? It was brilliant. So anyhow, some knucklehead comes walking over and they see this personal disc. Well, of course, they're going to throw it in the PC and see what it was. And basically, it was, Master Grant, it was a literal Trojan horse. Okay? It was a literal Trojan horse. And he got into he was in IBM. He was in Chase Bank. He was in everything. So eventually he got caught. And I want to say he served 5 years or something like that. And he served 5 out of a 10 or 7 out of a 10-year sentence or something like that. But he was let off early with the caveat that he could no longer be around any electronic devices. Not computers, not cell phone, an electronic device, as generically broad as that is, for a number of years, right? He eventually created a cybersecurity company, which is one of the best on the planet right now, and I can't remember the name of it. But his punishment was no electronic devices. So again, this is going back 27. Imagine trying to do that now and tell somebody, you said you have to get them away from all this, right? How are you going to get somebody away from an electronic device? Whenever, even though your TV is a smart TV, right? How do you do that? Lou, you just got a new one. How do you do that now? How do you get these people to not go back into that, to isolate them from this shit that they're putting into their heads?
There are so many outlets now, too.
Too many. Even if you just do OTA, right? If you just do over-the-air television, how many of them are Sinclair channels now?
Quite a few.
Right. How do you get away from it now? You're going to read a newspaper? Whose newspaper are you going to read?
Yeah. All the ethics in journalism are gone.
They're gone. They're gone. And besides, how many of those ones does Murdoch own? Hearst has a few, and what's his name has a few. He's owned the Pirates. McClatchy. They have a few, but not nearly, not any kind of, it's going to make any kind of significance. We can tell them they can watch NPR. That's it. Right? And Reuters. That's it. Those are your two, NPR and Reuters. That's it. That's all you can. That's all you can do.
You have the BBC.
You can't watch your local news because of Sinclair.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's almost impossible. And thanks to Rush and those guys for demonstrating a area to fill, and they've done a huge disservice to this country. I think that what I like now, though, is I like there's a bit of a counterbalance. I don't know how much it is, but there's, for example, there's this thing going around on TikTok that the vaccine will make you gay.
Oh, really?
And it's being pushed. And it's being pushed as serious. And they have people saying, before I got the vaccine, I loved girls, but now, after I got the vaccine, I can't stop thinking of men. And it's a joke. But what they're doing is it's like kind of a counter the absurdity of Fox News and Rush and those guys.
So it's
They're going
satire.
a completely different way.
It's satire, right?
Yeah,
So sort of like the Onion type thing.
kind of.
I
Well,
saw
yeah.
on my Twitter feed, a guy posted across the other day, and I just started busting up laughing. He says, I got my vaccine. Does anybody know how to get the chip back in that fell out?
Humpty Hump time. You can DM us the link and let us know what you want to share. We'll either approve it or not. Okay, dude. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, yeah. So that's I like that, and maybe that'll, I don't know. Maybe it'll become more prevalent or all. But yeah, I mean, because I know I know some of these people, right? And these MAGA people, and seriously, if you were to say that the vaccine could make you gay, they would believe it.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
I'm not joking. They would believe it. I'm not going to get the vaccine. I don't want to get gay.
You're gonna catch the gay, huh?
Well,
You know what it is, though? It's the chip that they put in you. It reprograms you to be gay now. And you know what? It's all Bill Gates' fault.
Well, and it's because of the algorithm. You see, the algorithm can't. The algorithm has problems processing, so many impulses, and it just overflows because you become gay. So it goes right back to the algorithm. I researched that all weekend.
On that note, I'm going to bail out.
All right, Lou. We'll see you.
Bye, Lou.
All right. I got some shit I got to get done.
Oh, well, you got to do what you got to do. We'll see you.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Well, you know what, Master Grant? What are you going to do?
I got to stop or I'm going to go down.
Yeah, I swear to God, these people use the word algorithm and they use the word exponentially, right? And I think they just say it because they're big words and they sound impressive.
I don't know what they're
They
saying.
have a freaking clue what they're talking about.
It's just like that's marketing 101. You just learn all the big words and just keep saying them over and over. People think, wow, he's a good marketer. Yeah,
I've seen people, they'll be on the news and they'll pick something, whatever the something is, and they'll say, well, this thing's increasing. They'll give you the numbers and they'll say, this thing's increasing exponentially. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's not. No. It's literally not. It's literally the opposite of exponentially at this point. No, it's not. Kills me. Oh, we got the algorithm that'll do it.
God.
And I start bitching at the television. I stop and I look at my wife. I'm like, what do I even try? What am I doing? But then I feel stupid.
At least I know that I have you to, help pull me back from the gay when I get it. So, yeah, I can count on you for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I will either pull you back from the ledge or I'll push you over, one or the other. Either way,
either way, it's going to be a good day.
We're going to get to the end of this shit, right? One way or the other. Well, maybe the first one makes you gay, but the second one cures the gay. So you're only gay for like 3 weeks.
Okay. There you go.
What do you think? 2 to 3 weeks?
It's because the first shot that corrupts the algorithm and it makes you gay, and then the second shot puts in the code update that corrects the algorithm.
Oh, okay.
And takes you back.
So it reboots the algorithm.
It reboots it. Yes. Yeah. Reboots the chip and
There you go.
it.
See, that's how it works.
So
And they're
probably
doing these injections to people, and those numbers are increasing exponentially.
So you're wondering why I'm wearing Detroit?
I was kind of yes. Go ahead, tell me.
Not from Detroit. Been to
you're not.
Detroit. Like, nice
I've been to
city.
Detroit,
Like
yeah.
it. I actually like the city. It's a nice
Actually,
city.
believe it or not, the Detroit style pizza is really good.
I wish you would told me that before.
Oh, I
'Cause
didn't
I
know.
had
Oh, no,
anyway,
I should have seen you in
I
Detroit have before.
I won't. I'm not going to be back there for a while. But anyway, it was in Detroit that I saw my first baseball game when I was a little kid,
Oh, really?
about 5 or 6 years old, and went to see the Detroit Tigers. And
No shit.
I've always had a soft spot for them because of that. Yeah.
Fantastic. You remember who they played?
No.
No. Well, I mean, honest, I'm not making a joke. That had been quite a while ago. I can tell you my first baseball game was the Pirates, but I can't tell you who they played.
Right.
Yeah, I have no clue.
But I just remember those guys. Like, yeah, they just look so. I mean, they were just. Okay, yeah, you're a little kid. These guys are huge, right? And you're just like, wow. You know, it's like professional baseball players, and you know, it's yeah. So I just was a huge fan for them, and okay, because it was like, yeah. Anyway, that's the reason for the hat. And so I was in the airport, and I had a little bit of time to kill, so I walked over to this souvenir store, and I just, just asked I was looking at the hats, and I said, I'm going to get one. And then, of course, the guy asked me why, and I told him the story. So we actually ended up talking for like 30 minutes.
Oh, nice.
So, yes.
That's pretty cool. I honestly would have thought your first game would have been, out in California someplace. But
well, no, about the Dodgers, yes. So, but no, this was the first. These Tigers were the first.
Yeah. Unbelievable. I never would have guessed that. Never would. That's fantastic.
Anyway, I saw this in my cupboard. I decided to wear it today. Actually, when I was, I was trying to get on. I forget what day it was. It was one night. Maybe it was Wednesday. I forget. The night I got just snowed over with work.
That was Wednesday.
And I put it on. I was going to come on, and I no sooner clicked the link, and then I got beeped, and then I had to go. So yeah, so I decided tonight I was going to wear it and tell you guys about it.
Oh, you know what? I apologize. We should have started off with that. But
oh, you didn't know? That was just a surprise.
It was still that's a great story. That is. That's a great story.
Yeah. So I kind of wish, it would be nice if it would be nice to kind of go back to those type of days where, where that going to the ballpark meant something.
Yeah.
Be it baseball, football, whatever you're into, basketball, whatever, but that where it really meant something. Big, special day.
I used to love going to baseball games. I absolutely used to love it. Still probably as much as I adore soccer, still probably my favorite sport.
Yeah, I agree. I listen. Yeah, I listen to the radio, and my son and I, we were driving down to Alabama. We took a break. I forget where we were. Louisville, maybe Kentucky. They have a minor league ball, and we were driving. We saw the stadium. We saw people in it. It was around dinner time. We go, hey, we pulled up, got out, went in, had dinner there, watched the game a little bit. Forget it was not Louisville. I forget. It was somewhere in Kentucky though.
Oh, that's okay. Fantastic. Still my favorite sport. What do you say we wrap this up?
Okay.
Thank you everybody for watching, for joining us. Master Grant, great story. Great story.
Oh, thanks.
We will be back on Wednesday. You guys have to go through, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday without us. 4 days. I don't know what you're going to do. Well, I know exactly what you're going to do. You're going to have a good time. But we will be back on Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Hopefully with some good news. You know what, Master Grant, before we go, I can honestly say, since the election, even with all the bullshit going on now, I still feel like we are at least getting back to normalcy. Things are just starting. The weight on the shoulders is starting to lift.
I agree. It's nice to have an administration in there that's actually taking their job seriously.
Yeah. And whether you agree with them or not, the fact that they're actually doing their job is there's some comfort to that. Anyhow, folks, like I said, we will be back. Until then, goodbye.